I have been feeling so awful lately, and I just don't know where even to start.
You should just try journaling.
Just try journaling.
Journaling.
Yeah, haven't heard that one before.
Journaling.
Yeah, journaling has gotten a pretty bad rap with ADHDers because people offer it as this one-tool wonder to fix all of your symptoms. And I will be the first to say, it doesn't. Are you the type of person that have bought many different journals thinking this time I'm gonna start journaling for real, and then it ends up on a shelf? And now you have a stack of journals that have had, 5 pages of writing and they just sit there forever. But I bet the next journal will be different, right? Wrong. I think a good place to start is talking about, well, what's the purpose of journaling? Because a lot of us, I think, get journals without really knowing why we're wanting to start them. And maybe it's this big idea of, well, journaling's good for me, so I should do it. It's not really a good reason to do it, and it won't be consistent then. So let's talk about what's the purpose of journaling. I have kept a journal for the last 7 years of my life, and I have loved the process, and I'm going to continue to do it. This is my newest journal. I just got it. I'm really excited about it. And I want to tell you the secret to how I've been able to stay consistent in this practice for 7 years. The purpose of journaling is to give us a space for active processing. Maybe you've never heard this term before, so let me explain what that is. Imagine you're walking through the kitchen and there is a kettle on the stove, and you walk past it and you burn yourself on it. A neurotypical person, or the average person, might go, wow, that hurt. I'm gonna move the kettle away and I'm gonna turn the stove off, and then they walk away. That process is passive processing. They had a problem, they fixed it, moved forward, and it's not gonna, come up again. For a neurodivergent person, they might walk past this kettle, burn themselves on the stove, and go, ah, that hurt, and then walk away. Maybe 5 minutes later, they go back through the kitchen, they burn themselves again and go, holy shit, that hurts so bad, and then walk away. Have you ever made the same mistake over and over and over again and not fixed it? That is because neurodivergent people lack the ability to passively process information. Instead, we need to do a process called active processing. This is where we stop and go, why did this hurt? The kettle is hot. This burnt me. I need to move the kettle and turn off the stove so this doesn't happen again, and then move forward. We actively process the problem and created a solution. Journaling is that space for us a lot of the times where we get to have this space and moment to sit down and write out things that we're struggling with and having problems with and create solutions. Active processing is the purpose oftentimes for journaling. But it's also not the only way to achieve active processing. And that's kind of one of the main points of this video is that, hi, sorry, my son needs me. One of the main points I want to make in this video is that journaling does not work for everyone, and that's okay. I'm going to tell you all the ways that it works for me and how I made it work for me, but there might be the possibility that there are alternative ways to actively process that aren't journaling. Let me tell you some of those ways. Therapy is a really good way to sit down with somebody, talk through your problems, and talk about solutions. Talking with friends does this as well, or family members, or a partner. Something I have offered to clients in the past is the idea of a personal podcast. This is where you put your phone down and you click record, and maybe you're doing other chores at the same time, but you speak out loud and have a personal podcast. Hey guys, what's up? It's Hayley, and today I'm gonna tell you about some of the shit going on in my life. And then verbalize it, dump it out, brain dump it. It's the same idea as writing it down, but you're verbally saying it out loud. It doesn't need to be shared with anyone at that point. Having a physical notebook might be challenging too, because they're easy to lose, right? So I've lost so many journals by putting them down somewhere and then walking away and they're gone forever. So you can also journal in a laptop or in your phone. It does not have to be a physical notebook. I guess I should introduce him too. I introduced Obi last time. This is Zuko. He is a devious little evil boy.
What is he responsible for in the company?
Tax evasion. A really cool tool you can also use is mind mapping. taking one piece of your life and writing all of the things that are going on at the moment and putting it all down on paper, or maybe that's something you verbally do out loud as well. But now to get to the reason that you clicked on this video, journaling specifically. If you'd like to learn how to specifically journal and not do all the other ways of active processing, let's talk about that. If someone gives me a task and says, do it, if I'm not interested in it, if it's not urgent, it's not new or exciting, and no one's holding me accountable to it, I'm not gonna do it. So it's important to understand why we do things. The first reason an ADHDer will do something is because they're interested in it. Have you ever hyper-focused on something for hours and hours and hours? You were probably interested in the thing that you were hyper-focused on. So that makes sense. Urgency is a really big reason that an ADHDer does something. Have you ever handed in a paper at school when you literally had like 1 minute left and you were just doing it as fast as possible and then handing it in? Urgency. Another reason an ADHDer does something is because of novelty. When something is new and exciting, we want to do it. This is why we buy a new notebook and go, this is the time, I'm gonna do it, I'm excited about this new thing, and I'm gonna write in it for 3 days, and it's not new anymore, so why would I do this? And finally is accountability. When I'm doing things with other people, I'm more interested in it. Body doubling, for example, is a great reason that accountability works. So let me tell you how I have gone about keeping a journal for every year of my life for the last 7 years. I wanna start with the first journal I ever kept. It's stacked full of goodies. This is the reason I was able to start this habit and hold on to journaling. I created a bucket list for my grade 12 year with 2 of my other friends who also had journals. And our goal was that this notebook would hold our bucket list. Accountability. Somebody else was doing a bucket list as well, and I saw them filling out their notebook, so I wanted to fill mine out. It was a new notebook, it was a new thing. All of these things are new to try, and so I wanted to keep doing it. I was interested in this because I continue to put different pictures in it. It continually felt like a new notebook because new information was going into it. So I think the best way to start the habit of journaling is to gamify it. Having the bucket list in here gamified how I was using this journal. The second year that I went to do a journal, all of my friends had moved away and gone to different universities, and so I was alone in keeping this journal. And now I could have gamified it again by having a bucket list, which I did, baby. Here's my bucket list. So I tried to gamify it on my own. I lost the idea of accountability because somebody else wasn't doing it with me, but this was still really fun. And I was able to look at this with my partner at the time and be able to say, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And I tried my best to put different pictures in this journal as well. The change that I made when I started using this by myself and not having accountability was that I started using this journal not just for my bucket list, which is what this was. This was just a bucket list. This journal, I started using it for everything. I would use it for to-do lists during the week. I would use it for writing music if I wanted to. I would use it for just dumping thoughts or doodling in it randomly. Oh, hi, didn't see you there. Did you know that I have a course specific to burnout and how to manage that as an ADHDer? Well, I do, if you didn't know that. And you can find that in the caption below. You can also find a little duck. I don't know, could be fun to find him. For the next 4 years of journaling that I did, at this point it was pretty habitual. And there was one thing that I kept consistent with all of these journals, was that I did it when I felt compelled to do it. I didn't create a habit of I have to journal every single day, because at that point it would maybe feel too much like a task or a burden, and I wouldn't be interested then to do it. And I think part of the reason that I was able to consistently go back to my journals was because I was also utilizing other forms of active processing. I was in therapy this whole time. I was having sessions with friends talking about my feelings and things as well. I was doing active processing not just in my journals, but also with people around me. And so these ones are not as full. as the first two because I was getting my active processing in other spaces as well. And finally, on to this year's journal. I started doing something different because in my last journal, I felt as though I wasn't feeling compelled to go to it as frequently as I had before. So I realized I needed to build more interest into this new journal. And here's how I've done that. Look at this, I love it. I added interest into my new journal by color coordinating. I'm autistic. The idea around this is I thought it would be really fun to be able to quickly flip through my journal in the future to see different things that I'm writing about. And I wanted to spend more time on my journal this year. And so two things that I did was with the color coordinating, I now have sections of my journal that I know what they're about. For example, journal prompts. This is a page that I've done just different journal prompts and I've color coordinated it there, which I think will be cool in the future to go back and look at all of my different journal prompts. Or I have a specific one for hard days, so I can go back and see what I was struggling with. The other thing I have done with this journal is I have finally, after 6 years of doing this, I have re-added in accountability. I now have a friend of mine who is also really interested in journaling, and we meet up every single Monday and do a journaling session together while drinking tea and having incense burning and like talking about life and having snacks, and then we go to a yoga class together. And it has been so fulfilling to do that because I feel like I'm having these moments of, oh, this is what I'm struggling with, because I'm active processing. So to recap, journaling does not work for everyone because of how physical it is. Active processing, however, can be done by anyone in different ways, with therapy or talking with friends or a personal podcast of sorts, writing in your computer or the notes app on your phone, having brain dumps or thought maps. All of these things achieve the same thing that journaling does. But if you want to try journaling in the way that has worked for me for the last 7 years, here are the things you can do. Use one journal for everything. Color coordinate it to make it feel fun and new and exciting and build interest into it. Add accountability by doing it with a friend. Build a bucket list into your journals so that you have something to consistently write about. And in the same way, you gamify your journal. Make it this fun, exciting thing. Who can tick off the most things on their bucket list in the year? And finally, my suggestion is to use it when you feel compelled to. Follow the dopamine, as I have been doing with my life with everything. Instead of feeling like I have to do it, I feel as though, oh, I have the impulse to do journaling right now. I'm gonna do it right this second instead of I'll do it later. Follow the dopamine. Thank you for joining me in this discussion around journaling. And I want to remind you that it's not a fix for absolutely everything, but it can definitely help. Now, one thing that I am offering to my audience is in January, I'm running a program around accountability because I know that that piece can be really hard to have in your everyday life. Maybe you don't have friends that want to sit down and journal with you. I didn't for like 6 years. And so I'm running an accountability program that runs once a week where you can come to our sessions, we can talk about your goals, and we can build out how you're going to continually touch base with those. And maybe journaling is one of those things that you want to keep habitually doing. So January, that is a program I'm running. I hope to see you there. And if you're watching this past January, click below because I'm sure there are many other programs currently running live and a lot of courses that you can take and do at your own pace so you don't have to be there at a specific time. Otherwise, I love you so much. And if no one has told you today, I am so proud of you for doing the work on yourself because nobody else is going to do it. So it's amazing that you are. Love you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Hey, you gotta hold on it.
That's so hard to hold on to.
Out.
I should just try journaling.